Okay, Jonathan, there is the Geneva Convention, Jonathan, is very clear that at times of war, when any country gets hold of the soldier of the other enemy country, there is a straightforward protocol. But do you believe, given the hostility which exists today between India and Pakistan, is Pakistan going to adhere to those conventions despite all the politically correct talk which Pakistan is indulging in right now, Jonathan?
Look, there are conventions, and we know that right now Pakistan has violated at least one of them by parading your pilot on television. But I think we need to look at, perhaps zoom out for a minute and look at what Pakistan has at stake. And that is that they're about to win in Afghanistan. They have been waging a war on terror, both against U.S. forces in Afghanistan as well as against India. They're about to have a win, and this conflict that they've just entered in with you is now a reminder to the world that they are a sponsor of terrorism. I think it is in their interest to try to bring this to a close quickly. I actually am very surprised that they escalated in the first place. My sense was that they should have probably absorbed the blow that India first delivered to them because of the success that they're seeing right now in Afghanistan. We've got American negotiators talking with the Taliban, trying to put all of this behind them, and the world has ignored what Pakistan has done during that process. So this is putting it now right back in focus for them, and I think the last thing they want to do is flaunt international law, violate Geneva Conventions, or double down on their terrorist.
But Jonathan,
support.
that's my point. You know, look at our position. Look at Indian position. The Indian position is clear. We indulged in a non-military preemptive strike. We hit out at targets which we were convinced were harboring and sheltering suicide bombers and Fidayeen strikers, and therefore we went after them. But look at Pakistan. Pakistan comes in with the sole intention of hitting out at our military targets. Does one then go by conventional logic? How do you expect Pakistan then to adhere to conventional logic then?
This was a disproportionate response, in my view, on the part of Pakistan, which perhaps is not surprising, because it's not as if India is harboring terrorists on the other side of the border. So they didn't have a commensurate target to strike. They didn't have something that was equal in value. They had to do something to respond, I suppose, from a domestic perspective, or perhaps showing others in the region that they still have the strength that they would like to project. But the thing that I would warn when we think about where this might go, the potential escalation, is that I think India needs to be very careful about its own strategic objectives here. I think Pakistan, I was just recently in India, and what I heard from a lot of the security establishment is that Pakistan is what we would call a tactical threat. Even though it has nuclear weapons, even though it has a large army, this is not the long-term concern for India. That it's countries like China, and other threats in the region should be more concerning to policymakers, and not something like this, which should be resolved quickly. It's not to say that the threat will go away from Pakistan, but it is perhaps not the highest threat to India.